Your main character is the glue that is holding your book together, but without showing your story is gonna fall apart. Let's talk about it. Hi, my name is Charisma Antoinette, your new favorite children's book author and librarian, and this is The Author's Heartbeat, the place where writers go to find clarity, confidence, and community, because no one should have to walk this author's journey by themselves. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the key component that every main character needs in order for your book to really resonate with your readers. Oftentimes, when I'm talking to people who are writing books or have already published their books, one of the things that they focus on a little bit too much when it comes to their main characters is their overall design. And thinking about how they're going to look extrinsically, about their hair color, eye color, the outfit that they're going to wear, which are all very important components. But they're not the most important thing for you to consider as you're developing a character for your book. Take, for instance, the book The Mermaid Princesses, written by Maya Cameron Gordon and illustrated by Mariel Ortega. When I saw this book in the bookstore, I had to have it because the cover of the three main characters really drew me in. I immediately saw that not only were they three young, beautiful, brave, and bold Black young girls, but their bold coloring of their tails and their outfits, as well as their natural hair textures, really drew me in to want to purchase this book for myself and to share with the young people in my life. And that's what a good character design does. How a character looks on the outside, whether you're showing that through pictures in a picture book or you're describing it through words in a chapter book, is supposed to establish the character's personality, the setting of the book, and the emotional state of the character. Now, from looking at just the cover of The Mermaid Princesses, we don't really know for sure their personalities, but we can tell by the confident smiles on their faces that their emotional state is very happy. And we can tell the setting of the book because not only is it called The Mermaid Princesses, but the main characters themselves have mermaid tails. So that lets us know this not an outsider looking in, but it's someone of that culture itself. All this information we're getting by just looking at the cover of the book before we even dive into the story, which is a benefit of having a good character design. But what is most important that you have your character do within your book is the key thing that's going to keep people turning the page and wanting to share your book with more people, which is going to generate more sales for you down the line. So you may be asking yourself, what's more important than the actual design of my character? Well, your character needs to show a transformation. Who they are at the beginning of the book cannot be who they are at the end of the book. And that journey that your character goes on is the journey that's going to make your reader actually care about them and want to continue reading the story and sharing that book with other people. That's how you make your character come alive on the page instead of just being a static image there. And so transformations are a very easy concept to wrap your mind around. Think about it in terms of something that's internal or external that is changing within your character, whether that's a change in thought process, or maybe it's more externally of them learning a new skill. And these can be changes that are big or small. But what's most important is that the change that's happening, the transformation that's occurring, matters to the character itself. It doesn't have to be them discovering the cure to cancer, but it could be them overcoming a fear of spiders, or them learning how to speak up for themselves. It doesn't have to be world ending, such as them saving the world from a catastrophe getting ready to happen, but it has to be something that is really important and matters to that character. So let's go back to the Mermaid Princesses. We start off with them, as I said earlier, of them being bold and brave and strong, and all of them though being triplets. And so they each have a desire to be queen at the beginning of the book. And so they're fighting and they're bickering with each other about who is the better person to be queen of the kingdom once they get older. But throughout the journey of the book, by the end of it, they go from being competitors to being collaborators with each other and saying that one of us doesn't need to be queen. All three of us can be queen because we each have a different skill that the entire kingdom needs, but we need to work together to give the kingdom what it deserves. And that's the transformation that occurs. They go from being a little self-centered and competing with each other to being more collaborative and being open to change and working together. So how do you show a transformation in your book? Number one, your character needs to have a desire that is specific and understandable to the reader. So for example, your main character could want to be the best soccer player on his team. That's a very clear and direct desire that a reader can understand and therefore root for your main character about. But after you express what that desire is, you then need to present an obstacle that they have to overcome. So what is blocking them from getting to their desired state? That is going to help us get to the journey that the reader wants to be able to follow your main character on. So again, your main character wants to be the best soccer player ever. But the obstacle that they're facing is that their parents just moved them to a new city. New city means a new coach, a new team, new teammates. Everything is new for them. So how do they adjust and still work towards their goal of being the best when they're on unequal footing, when they don't know who to rely on their team, they don't know their coach's coaching style? Those are obstacles that fit within that desire that, again, aren't world-ending and drastic, but those obstacles matter to the main character and affect them deeply, and therefore make the reader invested in their journey of how they're gonna overcome all those obstacles to still hit their desired goal. So once you showcase the desire and the obstacle or obstacles that are in their way, you then need to show them overcoming those obstacles to reach the desired point they want to. And sometimes that desired endpoint may not actually be what they thought they wanted in the first place. So let's keep going with our example of your character wants to be a soccer player, but they moved into a new city with new everything going on. A good conclusion could be that they adjust real easily and they're still the best soccer player. They go to pros, the young junior Olympics, and they're great and they're successful at the end. That's not really rewarding for the reader. It's a conclusion that you can do, but it's not really going to be rewarding for them. Or another conclusion could just be that your main character learns that it's okay not to be the best at everything. It's okay to enjoy a sport and just do it for fun without always striving to achieve a gold medal at the end of the road. And with that kind of conclusion, you're getting a good transformation of your character learning to let loose of control, relax, and to be a kid for once instead of always aspiring for greater and greater. It's not to say that he will never become the best soccer player out there, but it's saying that I can still accomplish my goal while still having fun at the same time. And with that kind of ending, your book is going to really resonate with readers because who your character was at the beginning of the book is not who they are at the end. And readers want to read that journey of overcoming and reaching a desired state so that way they can cheer on your main character along the way and keep turning pages. And most importantly, tell other people about your book to encourage them to read it as well. So remember, as you're writing your book, if you feel like your story is falling a little flat, look at your main character. Are they going through a transformation? Figure out what their desire is, what obstacles you can put in their way to accomplishing that goal, and figure out how they're going to overcome it so that way they are growing into a stronger character than they were at the beginning. So let's practice. Leave a comment down below about what your main character's desire is and the obstacles that are going to be in their way and how they're going to overcome it to become a different character at the end of your story. That way we all can learn from each other and see how we can make stronger transformations for our characters that are going to keep people reading our books. And sharing those suggestions down in the comments really makes sure that we are working together as a community to grow our writing skill and to learn from each other, because every story is worth sharing, especially yours. And I can't wait to see what you're working on in the comments down below. See you in the next video. Bye.